The giveaway that we're going to be using the distance formula this time and not the midpoint formula is they're going to ask you to find the length of a segment or the distance between 2 points. If you don't see that word and just look at the two coordinates, some people aren't sure if they're doing midpoint or distance, so just read carefully and see what they're asking. If they're asking for length, they're asking for distance formula, this thing up here. Also note that they're asking you to find the approximate answer, meaning that decimals are okay. When we're finished with this, we're going to be taking a square root. If that number happens to not be a perfect square, we're going to use a calculator and get an approximate answer with decimals. If it says exact answer, we'll have to do something different. I'll show you a video about one of those. So again, just like with midpoint, you probably want to start out with labeling your points. So we'll label them x1 and y1 to show the first x and the first y, and then x2 and y2. After this, it's just a matter of using this distance formula up top. So let's say the distance is equal to a big square root. In parentheses, we've got x1 minus x2, so 3 minus -4. Be sure to include both the minus and the negative. I see that mistake a lot. People forget one of those signs. And then square it, plus we've got y2, or y1, which is 2, minus y2, which is 3 squared. Let's go ahead and start simplifying in those parentheses. -3 minus -4 is a positive 7 in parentheses squared, plus 2 minus -3 is -1. Keep that -1 in parentheses. That's going to be really important in a second. This 7 squared gives us a 49. When you're going to do -1 squared, if you're using a calculator to do these, make sure that you're using parentheses. Put the -1 in parentheses and square it. Otherwise, just remember what you're doing. -1 squared means -1 times itself. -1 times -1 is a positive 1. When you square these numbers as part of the distance formula, they will never come up negative. Finally, add those values together. That obviously is going to give you a 50. 50 is not a perfect square. So at this point, because it had said find an approximate answer, it's a-okay to use a calculator to type that in and get an approximate answer. So I'm going to put my approximate symbol down. I usually round to 2 decimal places unless it says otherwise. That comes up to be about 7.07 units. We don't know if it's inches or feet, so we'll just say units for right now.